Next topic, iterator and iterables. Let's create an array, some 5 values. So what I have written is I have created an array and I'm trying to access each value one by one using for of loop. This loop is called for of loop and printing the value individually. You can see the output. How am I able to access each elements with the help of for of loop? By default, this arrays, map, set, these things have an implementation called iterator inside it. So what is iterator? Iterator is a tool to access each element of the either array or map or set, whatever it may be. That tool is called iterator. Iterator will help us to iterate each values one by one. So that is iterator. So what is iterable? An object that has iterator inside it and have multiple values that can be iterated is called iterable. So in this case, nums is iterable, and iterator, the implementation is by default and we will not be able to see it now. So only because the iterator is already implemented in this array, we are able to access each element one by one. Now we will manually implement an iterator. So what is the main rules of iterator? An iterator is an object that should have next method. Next method, that method should return two values. One is value and other one is done. So for example, we are implementing an iterator for this array. Iterator equal to nums of symbol dot iterator. So now we are manually creating an iterator for this array. Iterator is actually specified to an object. So iterator dot next of. So by default, this iterator belongs to nums array. So by default, if we call iterator dot next, it will access the next value of the nums array. So as I said, it will not only return the next value, it will also return another value called done. See, so value should be 3. So this is the first time we are accessing next, so we are getting the first value, and whether done equal to true, it's not true, it's false. So which means that there is another value, there is next value in the array, and this is not the last value of the array. We are just calling the iterator next to 2 times. You can see value 3 done false, value 6 and done false. We are doing it for the 5th time. So each time it should be false, the done value should be false, but when the value reaches the last element, then the done should be true, which means it is the end of the array. See, so until we have a value, the value is printed and done is false. Once we reach the last value, on the next time when we access iterator.next, the value should be undefined and done should be true, which means we are done with accessing all the values. So this is how we can manually implement iterator for a array for a iterable. So again, iterable is an object that has multiple values and it has an iterator implemented with which helps us to access values one by one. So this is just to learn how the default iterator will be. I mean, by default in an array or map or set, an iterator will be implemented. So now we will create a custom iterator. So I'm going to implement a method called next. So you know already that there is an, I mean, if there is an iterator, that iterator should have a method called next, and that method should return two values. One is value, other one is done. So value is going to be the current value, and done is a key that is help us showing whether we have reached the end of the array or end of the sequence. If this dot current is less than this dot last, so in that case we are going to return value this dot current plus plus comma done false, else return value undefined as per, I mean, you can see that if there is a value, then it should done should be false, and if that is the last value, and again if user is calling next, then the value should be undefined and done should be true. So we are creating next method according to this. Done is going to be true. Right. So we have implemented my iterator, I mean custom iterator. Now this iterator will return value 5 times, and sixth time it will return undefined and done is true. My iterator, it should be inside console log. Dot next. So directly I'm calling next. See, value 1. So what if I'm calling it second, third, fourth and fifth and sixth time? See, so as per our custom iterator, value 1, I mean for the first time this dot current will be less than this dot last. 1 2 3 4 5, and after this dot current will not be equal to this dot last, or will not be less than this dot last, because this dot current is going to be 6. So in that case, if case will not execute, it will go into else part. That is why it is returning undefined and done is true. So this is a simple implementation of a custom iterator to understand how an iterator will work inside, how a default iterator is implemented inside arrays and set and maps, everything. Where it is specifically used in the sense we are creating a custom object and we need specific implementation over the iterator. We need a specific scenario to implement it inside an iterator. We can use this kind of iterator to implement our own requirement. So we are concluding this part by saying that an iterable is an object that has multiple values and should have an iterator implemented, and that iterator should have next method, next function implemented, and that should return value and done while iterating. So it should iterate all the values till the last value.